Hello and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I am your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka Dark Sheep. We are continuing our adventure into the football streets as we tried to take down $3 million. I think that's a good goal to have in life is become a millionaire. And this week I have some sharp minds to join me. One is currently talking to his niece for her birthday, and he will join us later. But first, we have Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hey, what's going on, Matthew?
It's
Happy to be on with you today.
Yeah, I'm glad we could get this lined up. Neil is, of course, a multi-sport analyst over at Stochastic. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you need to say about yourself, Neil? For
That pretty much sums me up. Yeah, I do an analysis of all the sports for DFS. Started to do best ball content this year, which you and we've been competing against each other in best ball for a couple of years now. So
yeah,
I'm surprised I didn't get into best ball content earlier. But yeah, I primarily do DFS content, but this year I've started doing some best ball content as well because I'm pretty obsessed with it.
yeah. Were you coming just from DFS, or do you have any like classic regular fantasy background?
Yeah, I mean, I've been obsessed with fantasy for like my entire life. Like, I mean, not my entire, probably since high school. Like when I first learned of fantasy, I did the whole like check the scores in the newspaper. Like I was involved in those kind of leagues for a
Yeah.
while. And then like college, competed in a lot of like I was on the cross country team. We had fantasy baseball, fantasy football leagues. I did all of that, and I was definitely way more into it than I think just about anybody else on the team. There were a couple other guys who were pretty competitive, but yeah, I definitely have been involved in season long fantasy for a long time. I even you did you ever participate in something called Scent Sports?
No,
I
no.
don't really remember what the format is. One of my roommates from guy I lived with in New York, who's a good friend of mine from college, but we lived together in like 2009 or something. And he was reminding me that during that period when we lived together, we did something called Cent Sports, where it was like similar to DFS, but like you're betting like literally like dimes or nickels. I don't know. It was
Okay.
something. So I've done all sorts of weird fantasy things over the years.
All right. And it looks like the good uncle is here. Welcome,
Good
Nez.
uncle.
The good uncle is here. I got blindsided with the FaceTime. My niece just turned 5, so
Oh, awesome.
had
Nice.
to had to pay respects.
Yeah.
She's
Probably going
all
to
the way
bed
back.
before the end of the show.
Exactly right. Yeah, so I had to fit that in. She's all the way in Pennsylvania, so had to say hi, let her know I was thinking about her on her big day. How you guys doing, Neil? First time,
Yeah, first
long
time.
time fan. So this is
Yeah,
this is
good to
fun, man.
finally
It's
meet you.
exciting. Yeah, you too,
As I
man.
said, the only way that I can do a draft where I'm not drafting against one of you badge bros is to do a stream with you. So glad you're on this with me.
We're everywhere. Yeah, man. This should be fun. This should be fun. Matthew, good to see you again, my friend.
Yes. You're. I got to bring you on occasionally to keep your run on the most frequent guest on the sheep seats.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, trust me. I pay attention to that. I need to make sure that I keep my title belt.
Although Numi does have a little advantage that last year him and I did a few just before the badge rows and before the sheep seats he and I did. So, but I'm not counting those.
Yeah. No, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
This is a new year, baby. Turn the page.
All right, so we're gonna jump here into a best ball mania draft, but the one question that I've been asking everybody that I've had on for coming into football is if somebody is new to best ball football, where do you think is the best place to start? So the framing that I always pull in is that like when people come into baseball for the first time, their question is, okay, what stats do I look at? So you kind of have to walk them back and say, okay, well, you don't really need to look at the stats. You can, it's not that important. Maybe you want to start with projections and then work your way into stats. So starting with you, Neil, like where do you think is the first place to look? Is it like when you say rankings or projections or stats, where do you think somebody brand new to this format should start?
Well, full disclosure, I'm a full-time employee at Stochastic. So I'm going to say you should sign up for the Stochastic Best Ball package. It's just $40, and of course, Matt Kajeski, who is very very sharp mind in these
Yeah.
streets, does the projections for us. So yeah, I mean you can find a number of places, and yeah, at Stochastic it's $40. You can get access to our rankings, which is I say ours, really Kajeski's rankings, for all of the best ball sites in CSV format, so you can download them from the site, upload them directly onto Underdog or wherever you're playing. So yeah, I'd say it's a good place to start, but there are plenty of places. I feel like it's useful just watching streams like this, just like watching people who have done it for a while, who are good at it. It's really because it's not necessarily intuitive for everybody, like the concepts of like stacking and like how many players how much talent do I want to allocate to each position. That kind of stuff is maybe not intuitive for everybody. So I do think just watching streams like this is really useful also.
Yeah, I just want to co-sign Gajeski there. That's my guy. He whenever he used to stream like every Saturday, do like a little live stream before all the NFL slates. I was in there every week. So shout out Gajeski. Definitely a good plug there. I would say for sure, like consuming content is a good way to understand what the meta is in best ball. And I would have like a lot of questions for this hypothetical person, such as like, what's your goal? How much money do you have to spend? What do what things like that would definitely help me gear them towards what's like the right thing to do. Like for example, my dad's going to draft probably like $100 worth of teams. I'm not even giving him advice. I just want him to have fun with that money. But if somebody's really looking to gain an edge in ROI, or like what's the way to win $3 million, then that would definitely gear me towards different answers. But I do think starting with streams like this, getting around people who are talking about it, is a good way to understand what other people are doing at least.
All right, we got Tyler here. Hello, Tyler. He's a new guest to the Sheep Seat, so nice to see getting some crossover from all the other places he's at. So yeah, and the thing that I always say is just draft first. I think that goes, find the lowest price point and practice a couple of drafts before you really.
That's very sharp. Yeah.
All right, so let's do it. We're gonna get into a Best Ball Mania draft here. I am not using Stochastic rankings. Sorry to say, I've been using the former champs rankings this year.
Little
Pat Crane.
Pat Crane, yeah. So
legendary upside, yeah.
Oh yeah, we immediately filled. So we get the 8th spot. Let's see, that's Mayor McShippett's the only name I really recognize in here.
I always immediately look for the badges to see, because those are the ones I'm most likely to recognize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
anymore, man, I kind of miss the badge rooms, right? We got these August drafters in here, and they have no care about what team you're stacking. They don't care about ADP either, which is like kind of cool. Get you some major values, get your guy season.
You guys see, I don't know if you saw, so I did a draft. I live streamed it this past week and got the start of Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson with my first 2 picks.
Goodness.
Which I'm like, that's like, how does that happen?
That was BBM?
That was BBM. I do worry that it's going to get thrown out. There was one very erratic drafter. Like it didn't feel like it was like people colluding, just like one person kind of seemed like they were throwing the draft. So I don't know if that's enough to get it.
How may I ask, how were they throwing it? Was it the construction, or were they taking like no-name guys in like the second round?
So they started with so they were at the 1-2 turn. So they started with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen at the 1-2 turn, and then, which is like, okay, that's fine.
You're safe there,
whatever. Yeah. But then second, the 3-4 turn, they took, I want to say, Zeke and Tank Bigsby.
You're still safe. You're still safe.
Do you think so? Okay.
The way that I talk, we on our show, Badge Bros, of course, we talked with Rudman about what gets a draft thrown out and what doesn't, and he's like, we allow people to draft bad teams within reason, and in our conversation there, that summary tells me that draft would stay.
Yeah, that's true.
Zeke is still a name that like some cat like. There's definitely somebody out there, and probably within a stone's throw for me that still likes Zeke this year.
All
'cause
right.
I'm in Texas.
This is easy, Cooper Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Cup in
nice
the
when
8-hole.
your decisions are made for you.
No,
Slam dunk.
yeah. I was actually drafting along with you on that, Neil.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, you were
Was
in
it
that
you?
stream. Yeah.
It
What are
was.
your
Yeah, it
thoughts
was
on
me.
Zeke?
I don't know why
Tell
you're
me your
calling me
opinions
out
on
for
Zeke
my
right
draft.
now.
I was just trying to pull it up here. I don't have all the screen sharing right, so
I do
can't
so many
it.
streams. I remember that you did one. I did not remember that you were in
Mm-hmm.
that draft with me. That's funny.
That's good
quite
stuff.
all
Was
right.
that recently?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Maybe Wednesday. I forget what day it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to, when I have somebody I don't really know a ton about, I try to watch a couple of streams before
Nice.
I have them on the show. So I just happened to hop on that. So yeah. But they ended up going like 4 quarterbacks, which really pushed the room into a weird scenario.
Yeah.
And I think that's like as much as Tyler's saying here, it's tilting when they ruin your stacks. It's also tilting when they like threw off the position like balance, I'll call it, that we're used to when you're doing a draft.
I was in a room. I did a stream earlier today with Nick Lepre. He's doing like a marathon 10-hour stream, and somebody took Joe Burrow at 8 overall.
8.
Yeah, and
Oh
it
my
ended up being
gosh.
like there was a huge run on quarterbacks, and then we still somehow ended up getting Trevor Lawrence at 72. So it worked out well for us.
It is that time of year, I guess. That is wild. So Matthew, how many drafts are you down?
So this
and I want to know
is
your most exposed player as well.
This is my 22nd BBM, and I'm on the clock here. Oh, geez. I can't pass up.
This is such a boring
it's a rare
draft
combo.
right
now. I still pretend like he's on the Packers. I'll be honest.
Oh, are you a Packers guy?
I am a Packers guy. So
that's unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
This Devontae fall is just glorious. This is definitely one of the things
that vaporware
gotta just soak up.
Yep. Gotta take advantage.
Yeah, let's see here. I am completed 21 entries.
Right.
Yep. So this is my second one. I have 2 wide receivers at. Oh, let me make sure I filter on just this contest because I did some earlier ones.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have a quarterback at 33% and a wide receiver at 33%.
You're gonna let us guess?
Sure. Let's see. Let's go with the quarterback first. It is an elite quarterback.
Okay.
And it is a guy that I draft every year, and the results are never really quite there.
Is elite an objective label here?
I know, because the two quarterbacks who I think it could be are both like borderline what you might call elite. Like it doesn't really fit within my definition of elite, but I could see somebody calling them elite.
Okay, right. He could be elite. How about that? And he hasn't got there.
Oh. Actually, one of them I know I can throw out now based on context clues. It's not going to be Anthony Richardson. So I would guess. No. But also, you say he hasn't quite got there. I feel like it worked out last year. The other one that I was thinking of is Daniel Jones.
This is in the elite tier. If those are who you're thinking about.
Okay.
Is it Trevor Lawrence?
It is not. No.
Okay. No. Justin Herbert.
No, that was what Dave just
asked. Oh yeah.
No.
Huh.
So it is Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay.
And every year starts off ripping a couple of hot games and then misses a bunch of time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's given us a complete best ball playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely like Daniel Jones this year at cost. And I like Richardson. I don't like being a non-football bro. It's pretty easy to take a guy that has that sort of profile without thinking too hard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Size go Burr. I liked that you shared those projections from Derek Carty, because I do like to get some information outside of what I consume regularly. And for him to kind of have Daniel Jones where he had him ranked definitely kind of my ears perked up a little bit at that, considering where he is and how there's a little bit of steam, not too out of control, but he is rising a little bit, and I'm trying to.
We're gonna get your guy again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I should.
You think you should now?
I think I should hold off. I think 33 is kind of more than I really want.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with what. If you want to go Gibbs, I'm cool with it.
Yes.
I like Gibbs.
Yep. And Gibbs is someone that I don't have much of. But to go back to your comment on the blitz, I almost said the blitz projections for half PPR scoring was something I had posted on Twitter the other day. And the one that really stood out to me was Dak Prescott. He is like on the rankings. He's well, I guess we could pull it up, but
yeah, I forget.
He was a lot higher on the rankings. So I have been working the last few days to try and I was at no Dak to try and get some of that. I don't know if you guys have any opinions on Dallas in general.
They're interesting.
Yes. I've gone back and forth. So early on, I drafted a ton of Dallas because just my P brain. I just see they got Brandon Cooks. Like they add an elite receiver, they're probably going to throw a lot. Like they've got 2 elite receivers now. Michael Gallup as a wide receiver 3. Like I want to draft that offense. And then I talked to some people who are more data brains, who are examining the data more closely than I typically do, and a lot of them are saying, well, they're going to be more of a running offense. We're not expecting them to pass a ton. So I kind of cooled off, and then now I feel like I've heard from some other sharp people who have given me permission to go back to my P brain approach again. So I'm kind of all over the place with Dallas.
I'm with you on that. I think I'm at the field right now. Dak is definitely not one of my higher owned QBs, just because I'm more concentrated than I typically have been with best ball in the past with my QBs. So I'm typically going Daniel Jones where Dak Prescott instead of Dak Prescott because they're so similar. But
yep.
I do like opting for in that 7th round range, getting a Brandon Cooks and then queuing up potentially that Dak Prescott stack if that's something that I need to fall back into. Cooks could end up being a really big value in drafts this year. I'm surprised that people aren't more excited about a guy that has caught for 1,000 yards almost everywhere, and now he's in one of the best situations he's been in since the Rams. Let's go. What are we thinking here?
All right.
I'm a bye week bro, so I'd prefer Hall to ETN.
Okay, yeah,
running back, but I'm good with whatever.
Here I'm going wide receiver.
Okay.
London would be my pick.
Yeah, I have made that decision more towards London, so I am taking Terry McLaurin here. But
can't go wrong.
Very similar to me. Those are both very similar to me. I actually don't have much of either of them. I don't think, to be honest.
Are you typically going running back in that spot?
I think so. I think I'm usually going running back there. I've drafted a lot of. I mean, it's a little bit later than Lamar usually goes, but he's also my highest exposed quarterback. I have just 21%, so pales in comparison to Matthew. But I'm trying to think what else I do here. I mean, yeah, I think just running back is typically what I'm going there.
Okay, here's a question from Dave. He's doing his home league draft tonight, so we can help him out here. What do you guys think about taking 2 rookie QBs? Or RBs.
No issue with it. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, depending where you get them, of course. But I mean, Bijan first round. I think he's good in the first round. And then Gibbs, I wouldn't take him in the second round, but have no issue if he's the right value. Why not?
Yeah, if you end up with both on your team, you should be happy. Just maybe not in the second round for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
like Neil said.
All right, so we're gonna go back to my exposure here. Clue I'll give you on
wide receiver,
the wide receiver is that he is a teammate of one of these players currently on the team.
Currently on our team.
On our team here.
I'm gonna go with Hunter Renfrow.
You're very, very close.
Oh, he's close. Jacoby Myers?
Yes. Yep.
I was thinking about saying Jacoby Myers too, but Hunter Renfrow is just so easy to get that he's one of my highest exposed.
Yeah.
Pretty high. I'm pretty high on Jacoby Myers too, to be honest.
Yeah. If you had guessed last year, Hunter Renfrow, you would be right.
Yeah. And then he burned you, so now you're off.
I had so much Hunter Renfrow, but he ended up on the BBM3 winners lineup. So who's to say that we were wrong?
Did he make it into the actual
not the starting lineup, but he was on the team.
Bench.
He was on.
He did nothing for that team all year.
He got a ring. He got a ring.
Yeah, that's right.
He warmed that bench like I did in all my high school sports. He warmed the bench really well.
We were directionally accurate. That is what I say.
Yeah, I have a lot of both of those guys actually. Jacoby Myers also,
and that is baked in from the blitz again, because that. Sorry, cover your ears, Neil, but that is my usually DFS projection source. So it is always over the field on him. So
listen, I want everybody using non-stochastic projections. To be honest with you, I'm the only one using them.
That's funny.
Fair enough. But I feel like he is getting a little bit of steam. I don't know. I feel like his ADP has been going up. Jacoby Myers.
Hunter?
Jacoby.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, Jacoby's, I think. Yeah.
I think he's one of those. He's in a range where it's just like all these guys look so similar to me, like Jacoby Myers and Juju Smith-Schuster. And I've started going with, I feel like Nico Collins to me is just like a little bit sexier because he has the wide receiver 1 upside.
Mm-hmm.
So I draft him, a little bit earlier. But he's actually risen a bit more too. It's just a lot of those guys pretty similar to me. But I like Jacoby Myers. I like all those guys. Like I think that they are good values where they are. So been drafting a lot.
Yeah, I kind of cut off as he's risen up just because I'm more worried about Houston overall as an offense than
that's fair.
To really chase him up the board.
Mm-hmm. Kind of an odd landing spot for Jacoby. I mean, to go from New England, where obviously we're not excited, to the Raiders, where we're once again like not excited, but we just know that his talent kind of shown through in the past, that I feel confident that it'll probably do the same again. He just is such a good little wide receiver, man. Like, I'm just gonna bet on his talent. Like you said, where he goes, it makes sense. Like it's a fair price for him. Sheep, I want to know where you. Oh, sorry, we're on the clock.
We're on the clock here, but this is easy. I'm gonna take George Kittle as the Washington run back.
Yeah, there we go.
In this spot, I take a lot of Seattle and Deontay, so it's good to get it different there too.
Yeah, Seattle feels good here. I was going to ask where you at on like the Packers offense. Are you drafting a lot of them in your games?
Not to brag, but I watched my first snap of preseason football last night.
Oh, okay.
I was visiting my parents, and my dad had it on.
That's a dad move for sure.
Yeah. He's like, I just want to watch the starters.
Yeah,
I watch the starters.
Then third quarter.
Yeah. No. He didn't care about the other guys. But I don't know. There's so much range of outcomes there that I actually hopped on with Felix the other day.
Felix Castro.
Nice. Yeah. He was looking for somebody just like in the middle of the day. So I hopped on, and he was selling me on the Packers offense. He's high on it. I think probably my most drafted guy right now is AJ Dillon there.
Nice.
Just for as a RB3 on teams.
That seems like a pretty nice, like agnostic bet on the Packers there, right? Like no matter like what kind of happens, he's probably going to have a role, and he has huge contingent upside, even if Jordan Love isn't very good. So I think that's a nice way to play it. I will say I am like scrambling, and I do a lot of slow drafts to kind of help correct my exposures while I have like thoughts like this, where like I completely change my tune on the Packers, where I'm like, I think they're too cheap and the upside is probably not being baked in enough. So I'm trying to get up on my Packers, but I'm not, my highest is Christian Watson at 10%, but that's it though.
That's the hardest part for me is the Watson price. To build out a full stack. This is interesting here. I'm looking at Dotson because I don't think he's going to make it to me at 80, but there are a lot of wide receivers here.
I think Dotson has the skills to warrant a pick here if this is the pick that you want to make.
They're all pretty similar this range.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels weird picking a name like that when there's like a Mike Evans,
right. The name values are weird, and I personally I don't take a lot of Mike Evans, and I don't know if maybe I'm just not giving him enough credit for being Mike Evans of old, but like I can be a little more excited about Jordan Love and the Packers, who I haven't seen, compared to what I have seen with Baker Mayfield and what I haven't seen with Kyle Trask. That's just kind of where I'm at with things.
Yeah,
the Bucs seem really hard for me to imagine being anything close to decent.
I have 2.8% Mike Evans, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Nice.
Jumping back to the Packers quick, this was Felix's selling point mostly was the schedule, that they have a nice schedule.
Anybody in the NFC North has a nice schedule, just because they play each other so much, and I think that everyone in that division is going to just be awesome for fantasy environments.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All of the running defenses last year were horrible in the NFC North. So just the running backs in the NFC North, but really, all of the defenses in general were terrible also.
And all the offenses, I feel like, have something to be excited about in that division too. I mean, the only thing that you really have to like squint your eyes for, in my opinion, is the Packers. And it's like, well, if Jordan Love is actually good, they got some nice pieces there that are really cheap in best ball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I like Luke Musgrave. I've been excited about recently.
Yeah, that's somebody I'm scrambling in my exposures. I'm unfortunately not getting him at the 18th round, but 18th to 15th round, I feel like in CLV is borderline meaningless. So I'm really trying to make up ground there, because all signs point to him just getting everything that you want from a tight end, just being on the field every single snap. Yeah, that'll play.
And they've sort of taken a shotgun approach to wide receiver with how young everybody is.
Right.
We don't know who's going to stand out there and because Rodgers was such a pick his guys, who knows the skill level of people even when he's selecting them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did he did he agree? Did he go on an ayahuasca trip with him or not? Was that no?
Yeah.
So, and I'm having a real hard time getting any Jets this year, just because that's a total bias, but it just he's ruined me from enjoying anything about him. So
I'm at market on the Jets that matter. Which the Breece Hall stuff, I do wish my ADP on him was more in the 40s than the 33, but I'm at market there. I'm with you. I think that they have more question marks than people want to really admit. I don't know. I'm waiting and seeing on them.
It doesn't make any sense why they brought in Dalvin Cook to me. I just can't.
I don't get
that was a surprise.
Yeah, with the money that Aaron decided to save up, I mean, that really does seem like he kind of handpicked that signing, probably because he played with him so much, right? It just kind of seems like that type of bro science.
Yeah,
with a guy like him,
This is the other question of the Packers is how much the offense was Aaron Rodgers and how much was
it's a good point.
This
is a pretty tough.
This is a tough pick right here.
Yeah,
I don't want to take Kyle Pitts here.
I wouldn't mind taking Miles Sanders.
Little dip on him. Yeah, I think this is a decent buying spot, but if you want to do Pitts, I do dual elite too.
You like Rachaad White better? Okay.
Sorry, I'm going Rachaad White here.
I have zero Rachaad White in BBM.
Do you really? Zero, man.
Okay. I'm not maxing BBM this year, but I'm at 80. If I get to 100, I'll be happy. But yeah, no, he's somebody that, like I was talking about with the Bucks, I have trouble with. However, if somebody wanted to pinpoint to the fact that he's probably the RB1, probably going to get a lot of usage, that is a good argument.
Yeah, and it's really a second year sort of breakout type thing for me, and who knows what they're going to be doing, who's going to be the QB or whatever, but there's really no reason that he shouldn't get used.
Mm-hmm.
Who else are they going to use?
That's a thing, right? With Sean Tucker and Chase Edmonds behind him.
Yeah.
Definitely some arrows pointing to White having some of the most usage in the league for sure.
To me, I just have trouble buying running backs on bad offenses.
That's where I'm at.
Is Tampa going to move? It's just such a hard is he even if he does get all of the work in the first half, are they just going to be losing every game? I guess he's a decent pass catcher though too. That's sort of hard to read because Tom Brady just dumps it off so much that it's is that going to continue this year? I don't know. But I guess he has shown that he is a capable pass catcher, so maybe he'll be fine.
Bucks are just such an interesting team. I just don't really quite understand what their goal is. If it
Right.
like it does kind of seem like they're hoping for Caleb, but I don't get why they're hanging on to Godwin and Evans if that's the case. But
Right.
they clearly haven't made a lot of moves that indicate that they have the interest of that they're in the interest of winning. So it's just strange to me.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know. Just
he's gonna and on this in this run though for you, he's gonna catch 80 balls this year for you for this team.
My question about Miles Sanders is, and maybe this is just a Philadelphia philosophy, but why he never really stood out there. Why there's always like 4 guys deep behind him, and I don't know. That's just.
But they're doing it again this year. They got DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. Like they're doing the same thing. So I think it might just be. I mean, I don't think that he's like some exceptional talent. I think he's a fine talent, and a fine talent in an offense where they keep saying they're going to use him. All right, we should make our pick.
All right. I'm going to continue taking guys I don't have much of here. And
all right,
take
this is going to be a weird draft.
Yeah, I can get behind Pacheco for sure.
Just because I feel like I'm building here a 3 bad quarterback build with the wide receivers that I have, and who I'm starting to put together. So I want to take at least somebody on a good team. You were just mentioning that taking running back on a good team.
Exactly.
That's actually something I've noticed lately. After I get done with the draft, is like I have like 1 player on what is considered a good offense. So I don't know if that's a leak on my part or I've found the secret build this year, but that's something I'm trying to get better at. And maybe it is that I'm valuing the player more than the team.
I think I do the opposite. I think that I overvalue situations over players.
Mm-hmm. Right, which is like definitely something that I've done in the past, and I'm still like continuing to do. But I think if you were to weigh which one is worse to put more weight on, it's probably what Neil and I just said in the situation, because that is the least sticky. But if you know a player's good and betting on talent, I mean that's probably the safer bet. But who knows? Maybe I need to give ourselves more credit than I am.
I also think like it's hard to like how much. I don't know that I believe in my own player evaluation enough. I think it's part of it, which I guess if you are a data guy digging deep into like the advanced metrics, that's a way to feel more confident in your player evaluation, especially if it lines up with what you see. But
true,
I think that's part of it for me. It's just like I don't think that I'm some great player evaluator, so I just go with the situation more often.
Well, I've definitely been burned on some player takes in the past, so getting too excited about it here and this guy or that guy. So that's definitely something to take away there for sure.
Yeah, and I should say that I feel like watching the few games some of the games I watched Kansas City last year, when Pacheco was starting, it looked like he was running in mud or something. I don't know. He just looked
sometimes,
He ran angry, like he was like trying to break the ground. Like, he really did. He kind of reminded me of like Jay Ajayi. It was just like a very loud like gait, very strange, wild running motion. But they like him, and he'll run some dudes over. To me, it's like a very stylistic style of back, which the fact that they haven't brought anybody in is very good. It's because
as long as they don't, which I'm still a little bit nervous that they're going to.
That's the only reason I take Lenny.
Fournette. Is that the guy you're thinking?
Yep. Yeah, that's who I'm most worried about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That would definitely pose a problem, and I am surprised that they haven't even been rumored to be bringing him in and just being okay with Pacheco and McKinnon. That just seems pretty fragile, but I don't know.
Yeah. I've also drafted a good amount of CEH in the last round.
Yeah, definitely worthy of an 18th round flyer. Little pass catching role there for sure.
Yep. It's worked out somewhat well for me. I've just been basically the Chiefs. I just take whichever Chiefs back goes last in the final round, which last year got to a lot of I actually drafted a lot of Pacheco early, and then it flipped, and I took a lot of McKinnon late. So I was overexposed to both of those guys, and it's kind of the same thing. Like I'm drafting a lot of McKinnon where he's going, and a lot of CEH in the last round, and not as much Pacheco.
It's a nice way to play the Chiefs, just because with Mahomes and Kelsey being so high, and depending on who you ask, not really huge separators. Get piece of that offense.
I might
could
I
add-
might be angering the Pittman drafter here, but I'm going to take Anthony Richardson
right.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
to anchor my
He'll
QB
live.
room.
He's
Yeah, just-
he's someone that you don't. I mean, we have stack options later, but
Yeah.
you gotta understand that Richardson's a target to go make it
Yeah.
every draft.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I was looking at here, I was thinking ahead, and we have Rams and Vegas and Washington, and putting together those three quarterbacks late didn't sound super appealing.
Yeah.
So
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Still
making
can.
a little pivot here. Yeah,
I was gonna say,
Three
we could have
QBs with
gone-
Richardson isn't bad.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt?
Yo, we could have gone Brian Robinson just to add to the stack, but I'm also like, we've already got Isaiah Pacheco. It's weird to me that like they're sort of similar in my minds of just like they don't seem that great based on what I've watched of them, but clearly on very different offenses too. So probably not that similar. Like not great pass catchers. I think of them as just being like straight rushers, which who knows if that's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, I could see a little more pass work in Pacheco's game.
They said he was going to last year.
They said,
They're gonna
yeah,
start
they
throwing,
might. I mean, I don't know why teams don't do that more. Maybe I guess they're like, if he's not good at it, then I guess
Right.
that would be a reason. But you don't really want to I find it odd. Like they're okay with just telegraphing the play selection sometimes based on personnel.
Yeah.
So in Washington there, do you guys have a lean on that? I feel like it's just going to be split work that pretty even. I don't know. It's such a weird situation there because they didn't like Antonio Gibson before, but that was before Bieniemy came in, and now Bieniemy's getting talked down by the main coach, Ron Rivera, is talking
weird.
against him. It's like a whole weird, like, why did he go there in the first place when he could just,
right,
coach the Chiefs? It's not, he didn't get an upgrade.
I like
Yeah, that
Robinson
was-
on underdog, I will say.
Yeah, non PPR or half PPR.
Yeah, I lean
spot
Robinson in there, but otherwise, if you add that other half on other sites that do full, then
I like that,
then I lean Gibson.
That's a tiebreaker for me also. I think I prefer Robinson underdog, Gibson on DraftKings or anywhere PPR.
QBs are kind of stacking up here.
Now Tua, man, that has fallen. Too bad we don't have anybody from Miami.
I know. That's the thing. Like, I wish it just feels so bad to do a naked Tua, but that is quite the
Jerome
fall.
Smythe in the final round,
Right?
I
I get chosen.
So I'm gonna
get your guy.
Let's
my guy
double
here.
up on the run back.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The QB opposite to wide receiver week 17 stack in Indianapolis and Las Vegas.
Nice.
It'll be unique. So someone I just jumped into Drafters today and did my 5 drafts to get my free ticket, and
Nice.
I got a couple of Miami stacks.
Nice.
With started with Waddle.
Yeah, he's
got
so
to,
nice in that format.
And so here's a name I'm going to throw out to you guys and get your reaction. Braxton Berrios.
Haven't drafted any Braxton Berrios. I see Tyler says the Braxton Berrios disrespect. I don't mean
Tyler.
to disrespect Braxton.
So
Berrios.
yeah, that was my other stack partner that I didn't even know that he was on the team till today.
I didn't know it until you said it just now. Okay.
If a wide receiver 3 could emerge there, I mean, that would be something. But it's just like, I don't know if a wide receiver 3 has an emerger because they don't have anybody that's good enough, which like definitely seems like 85% of it, and the other 15% of it is probably just like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are so damn good, and defenses can't do enough to stop one or the other that a wide receiver 3 just like isn't necessary there. But worth taking some shots. Somebody's gonna catch a touchdown other than those two for sure.
Yeah, and the thing that I remember hearing, I'm not going to say that I came up with this on my own, but was that they didn't use Mike Gesicki at all. They didn't use the tight end position like at all as a receiver. But obviously they used those two guys way more than anybody, even in the wide receiver pool. But that was, I don't know. I didn't know if it was a good pick or not, but I was looking for a last round add on, and
I didn't. Like a good. I mean, if he could be the wide receiver 3, like that's he'll score some touchdowns, I think.
Okay, that's a better reaction than I was expecting on that. And then people.
As I said, I have 0 shares of him. That doesn't mean that that's correct, though.
He saw the field a lot in New York. I mean, teams clearly think that he can play football.
Yeah, so He got paid $3 million, and
Okay, Tyler,
he's
let's
the
go.
wide receiver 3. So yeah,
Sure.
and either of those guys get hurt,
Yeah,
contingent upside, and he maybe. I mean,
I can see it.
he's more of a target guy than anything. If his few days of showing out on the Jets or anything.
I mean, 20th round pick, man. It's like it's just a scratch off, anyways. At that point,
Yeah.
Now you've talked me into it a little bit of the like this is the second time I've seen Tua fall into like the 115 120 range. I don't know where he ended up going, but like really late, and it surprises me when it happens. And I've never taken him there because I'm like, well, Hill and Waddle are gone, I'm not going to take him unstacked.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the time to take Braxton Berrios. If you get Tua unstacked, take a late Braxton Berrios for sure. That I'm into that idea. Whether I would take him maybe as a run back, I don't even know who they're playing Baltimore.
Yeah.
Actually, I take a lot of Lamar. So
and
I
think
as a run back.
Yeah, and you can also maybe just to take that like maybe a step back or a step further. Like when it comes to Week 17 game stacks, what I've tried to do is it not necessarily put so much emphasis on the stack itself, but just getting pieces to what I think are going to be good game environments. And I think Miami and Baltimore probably going to be top 3 in the totals for that week. And just having access to a quarterback in that game, even if he's unstacked, like he's a quarterback in what is probably going to be like a 53.5, 55 point total. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, but I still don't do it. I still don't do it though.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
This is a gift right now. Let me tell you, my man.
Here it is.
This is a gift.
We need the, I've heard plenty of people talk about this Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris competition. I need the boots on the ground, Pittsburgh diehard take.
Everything that you have heard, and you we follow the same people, is not hyperbole. Like he is legitimately like twice the back Najee Harris is.
Neither of you is ever going to be invited on to Felix's stream again.
I know. But the thing is I also give Najee bull cases to people in our space because I think people need to understand that the Najee bull case is like double-digit rushing touchdowns, a la like the Jamal Williams role. Like if they're at the 1 a lot, he could pound that in and luck into a bunch of touchdowns, and he could probably catch 50 footballs. That is definitely something that's in his range of outcomes. However, Jaylen Warren is legitimately very good, and he is my 3rd highest owned player. And there is a chance that, in Najee's 3rd year and with Matt Canada, who is absolutely like needs to do something good offensively to hold his job, because people were calling for his job last year. Like he's probably going to tap into Jaylen Warren quite a bit. He's almost like played himself to a too good to ignore type of player at this point. And just as far as like the best ball context goes, like getting him at 128 right now, man, I'm telling you, like he has not made it past like 120 in like a draft I've done today. The steam on him is very real.
Yeah. I have such regrets of not taking more of him early. I have 5% Jaylen Warren, which I'm like, man, I missed my opportunity to get him at value. Like if you want to take him now, you have to take him pretty early.
Yeah. It's gonna get kind of nutty. Him and Bigsby both are really rising like significantly. I can do Warren way sooner than I can do Bigsby.
To me, they're very similar. But
for sure. I just, it's just like I've seen Warren do it. I need to see Bigsby. I need to see the usage with Bigsby for me.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting names here.
Decision. I don't want a running back here. Who do you guys like better, Marvin Mims or Jonathan?
Pierce. We can get Pierce on the way back.
Mims.
Mims seems fun.
Just because if we wanted Mingo, we could get him later too.
Mm-hmm.
But
The hope is to get Alec Pierce.
Oh yeah.
Who will, if we do get him, will probably, we still have Jacoby Myers here, but he will join probably Lamar at the 30 or at the same percentage. Alec Pierce is, if we get him, is somebody I don't know. I take a lot. I don't know if and it's not just because of Anthony Richardson. It's just these guys here. And it might be my anchoring on just knowing who he is and seeing him have good games.
Would you be how many, just like looking at this team right now, if you were drafting by yourself, how many wide receivers would you anticipate ending with on a team like this? I have my answer personally.
8.
You would go 8 here?
Yeah.
I would go 7, like almost like 100%.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's just
I rarely go 7.
Yeah, that's something that I've really started to lean into. If I get 3, if I do Kupp, Adams and Terry McLaurin as like my 3, and then I also add John Dotson in there as well. Like if you go to like the draft board, that's like what 4 in our first 6 or 7 there. Those are pretty strong bets to make 4 in the first 8 there. Leaning into just assuming you got those picks right. We do that with other positions. I don't know that we as a community do it enough for wide receivers. And what is an 8th wide receiver going to do if your top 4 guys are not hitting consistently? Like you're unless you hit a home run, it's probably not good that's happening. I would like to take shot when I do draft. I'm not saying that we need to do this on this stream. Giving my perspective. I would probably go 7 and then triple up at quarterback for sure. Maybe do like a 3-6-7-2 or 3 for sure at the onesies at one of those positions.
Okay. Yeah, and for me, it's usually because I'm seeing somebody that pairs with a stack towards the end.
Okay.
Especially on these bad teams. Maybe.
I think that's part of it for me too, is just like the more receiver, and it's also 3 receivers versus 2 running backs. So I'm like, well, I want to get more receivers, have more in there versus running backs. But definitely that's something that I've been talking about a lot lately. And I feel like I haven't done anything like directly any content about, but I just talk about it in streams. Is I feel like we don't talk enough about barrier to entry with players. Like I think that's exactly what you're alluding to. Like, well, what is the barrier for the 8th receiver on this team where we've already stacked it up? And I mean, we talk about it in different ways, but I do think that's like the right thought process is like, what has to happen for this receiver to score points on this team? And it would have to be a disaster for some of our players potentially.
Yeah, or you hit a home run, which like it to me, it just seems like not. I just think about the way the draft capital works and the way that people in this space, like us, we draft a lot of similar players. We see this with advance rates, where like Benjamin is one of the is an above average advance rate person because like-minded people like us who are good at the game end up taking him a lot. Well, One thing that I try to think about is like deviating in terms of players that are taken. So I'm trying to get like at the field on Najee because no one wants Najee, and do more 7 wide receiver teams like this. This is definitely
we're gonna take Pierce here.
territory.
Yep.
And then but now so if I'm gonna go 8 here, I'm gonna stop looking at wide receiver here. Is usually how I build.
Yeah,
if I'm at this point.
And we have some really good options here. So like if you go 8, like there's nothing wrong with it because we are looking at some there's that whole queue of wide receivers you just looked at. I pretty much take everybody there.
Yeah.
Same. So I'm just gonna pop the 3 guys here into the queue that we could.
You can backstack Mac Jones if that's what you're into.
I am not into that. Like I said, I watched a few snaps of preseason football, and my priors on Mac Jones were mostly he just didn't get any opportunity to throw much when he was in.
Everybody always says the most actionable football is preseason. So.
Right. Got to react to those 5 snaps you watched yesterday.
I got to poke at you a little bit there. That's to me that's like I wouldn't pay attention to that.
No, it's more just last year. I mean, he got taken out as the starter.
It looked like Bailey Zappi was going to take over at one point. Remember that?
That looked real. That looked real. I saw that with my own eyes. But I think that the change, what I'm clinging to is the change in OC there, hopefully making a big difference because Mac Jones had a good rookie season. I was in on him pretty big year 2. I was like, oh man, year 2 Mac Jones, we might see something here, and we in fact did not see anything worth.
Pretty sure I drafted a lot too because I drafted a ton of Jacoby Myers last year too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a great backstack. It's simple. Give me a little Hunter Henry as well. Someone I
was looking for Matt Stafford there.
Oh wow,
yeah, that's pretty early.
It's taken 20 picks ahead of ADP.
Welcome to August. Wilson just went too. I don't think that was his ADP either, or maybe I'm wrong on what.
No, it's early on Wilson.
Now. People are really excited about Jeff. I mean, I am too. I get it. Like that's probably. He's probably going to end up there very soon.
Yeah.
With the A-chain injury.
The latest phrase is that I know ball. Which, okay, I don't know if you saw the stream where they were starting to go off, the ship chasing stream where they're starting to go off on people saying, talking about knowing ball.
Musgrave at 160. Okay.
Okay, sure. I'm taking Donta Foreman here.
I like it.
I'm taking pieces of Foreman and I guess I have a little
Roshan?
bit of everybody, but
Everyone in that backfield.
yeah, just because I think I'm hoping they don't all split, but
Yeah.
down to Foreman's price just makes the most sense to me to take
Someone
him.
in this backfield is going to smash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
somebody's
we've
going to be a
seen-
great value, especially in the NFC North, as we were talking about.
Right. Like I'm so excited about the Bears this season. I do a lot of Bears everything.
And I appreciate that you're abiding by the bye weeks also. Or are you a bye week bro, Matthew?
I'm not. No.
Okay.
No, it's just working
What's
out
happening?
here.
Good.
The only place I look is at QB and tight end.
Okay.
And,
yeah, I mean,
and
I look closer at those positions, obviously, like because I
Sure,
want to
yeah.
have offsetting buys, but I look to some extent at every position. Again, coming back to barrier to entry, like that is part of the reason that I'm a bye week bro. Is if so, it happened on the stream earlier today that Nick and I drafted 2 tight ends that both had bye week 9, and then it's like 18th round. Well, the barrier to entry in week 9 for this pick at tight end, if you take tight end here, is 0. It's going to be 0 fantasy points. They need to outscore 0 to make it into a lineup. Which late round tight ends 0 could very much happen, but
Right.
that's part of the bye week bro in me is because I'm looking at the barrier to entry. And sometimes if my first 3 receivers, and this can happen, like I'm not such a bye week bro that I won't take my first 3 receivers that all have a bye week in week 7 or something. Well, then it's like the barrier to entry is lower for later receivers to score points in week 7.
Exactly. Yeah. Early on, I tried to ignore it, but after a certain point, you do have to give consideration. You can't just think that you nailed the draft. Like you kind of have to give respect to the fact that you still have to beat 10 other people in that draft room.
Yeah.
Right.
For
and
sure.
when it comes down to it, it's it is a tiebreaker, especially when I'm going the last couple of rounds. If I'm looking for that last running back or last wide receiver, I will check at that point. And it probably makes less sense to do it there. It makes more sense to do it early and not care about those guys at the end. That could
I feel like I care more at the end too. Like to me, it's like something to some extent I'm doing it throughout the draft, like because early on there's so many like week 13 bye week quarterbacks that I want to take, like Lamar and Josh Allen, and then it's like, well, but if I've already set up a Viking stack, I don't know. It's I guess I think about it a little bit throughout, but I do think it makes sense.
Week 13 itself is just loaded. That is the bye week hell this year. So when I do weekly winners, there's times where if my first 7 picks are not week 13, I go, okay, I am trying to win week 13, or I'm avoiding week 13 buys at that point because so many good offenses are stuck with week 13 buys this year. It's kind of wild.
Yep, absolutely.
That is one thing I'm completely avoiding this year is
weekly winners.
It's a little too beyond my my thought processes on football. At least
it's fun, man. If you ever get a chance to sit down and think about it, I mean, like it's a kind of a brutal contest, 1 out of 200 something K to win 20K. But if you think about it, each lineup that you draft is like $1 a week to sweat. I'm not going to max it, but I'm definitely doing a lot because I don't think people are drafting it correctly.
Agreed.
I think it'll overlay.
That's the thing for me is I just think that people do it way wrong. So then I'm like, I feel like there's a lot more edge in best ball. Now, what are your odds of actually realizing that edge is very low, but it's still, I think it's there.
It'll be fun.
All right.
We reach here for Howell? Or
I don't think so.
Taysom Hill's a run back off of Rashad White. If you like Taysom Hill.
I don't.
Do you like Kendre Miller? Dawson Knox, that's cool too.
I am. Oh yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Kendre Miller.
Kendre Miller just caught a pass in preseason, and people are excited.
I cannot believe how far he's fallen. Like,
dude, it's wild. It's wild,
and he's falling here in this draft. So good shout, Nez. Thanks. I didn't even think to look at him anymore here because I figured he would be off the board.
Yeah, he's playing. He's not hurt anymore.
Doesn't make any sense. Like he dipped because he was hurt. And like we got the 3-game suspension for Kamara, which I think was about what was expected. Like the dip doesn't make any sense to me.
No, not at all. I get I mean, if you want to talk about the team itself, like he's got some players to beat out, but this is a great price to take that bet.
Yeah, I am totally fine with this. Getting him and Warren at good price where they won't be in another week.
You're fortunate for that. I
I'm
think
good there.
Sheep, I think it's funny, man. When it comes to baseball, you are anti-rookies. You are no rookies for you, no sir. And on this team, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rookies on this team.
This is a concerted effort, Nez,
Okay,
in football this year.
This takes a lot for you.
We got Mims. We got who else we have at rookies? We got Jahmyr Gibbs.
We got another Kendre and our quarterback.
And
that's right. Okay, yeah.
So no, I mean it's a concerted effort to lean into the people that are better and smarter about football than me.
Okay, gotcha.
The other difference is and at some point I want to write this up more about baseball and why I hate rookies and prospects, as everybody likes to say. Hold on here. Yeah, I'm gonna take Dawson Knox.
What about Howell? I mean, we're like right at 80.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna come back to us?
I would do. Oh, yeah, that's
it's up to you. This is your draft.
That's fine. I'm not seeing him here because he's not ranked high on.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
wow.
list.
Where is he in this? Oh wow.
He's down here with Jimmy G. So
I just think you have so much capital tied up into that game and that team.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Total sense.
And Dawson Knox honestly is just as likely to make it back to us. I think. Like, people do not like Dawson Knox at all.
He's someone I don't. Here's where my rookie bias is
Let's go.
Coming in is the Dalton Kincaid stuff. I'm like, why is this guy flying up? He's a tight end first. Second,
I blame Liam.
It is. Well, it's all Liam.
It doesn't help. He does not help.
Dude just runs so pure. It's just like anybody that he's 30% on. Like, okay,
all
right, dude. It's the Liam tax.
All right. So, but the opposite side of it is. What about Dawson Knox? It's not like he's gone.
I've drafted so much Dawson Knox. He might be maybe my second most after Waller.
I took him a ton last year, and I'm taking him a ton again right now. He blocks a lot. He's on the field a lot. One thing that Pat Kerrane has been talking about a lot is like the value of being on the field for play action. And I had no idea the percentage of touchdowns caught by tight ends in play action is like 40% or something. It's an absurd number of touchdowns. Wow. So like, we like the cliche used to be like, we don't want our tight ends to block, like kind of want them to run block because you want them to be in situations where they get play action. And that to me, you had Darnell Washington in there. Darnell Washington might find himself catching like 5 touchdowns this season just because he's a 6th lineman for the Steelers this year.
How do we feel about Jelani Woods on Andre Richardson team? Not Andre.
I like it.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no leans on these last guys. I do again because of the blitz. I have been mixing a lot of Mike Gesicki, who they've always liked.
Yeah.
And just the way that New England uses 2 tight ends a lot. There's no reason he should be back down here with Hunter Henry going a couple rounds before.
Wait, Henry has flipped? I didn't realize that Henry was going ahead of Gesicki now.
By like 20 picks now. Yeah, it's here. It's here. I like Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry and Knox were some of my most selected players last year for tight end.
I've drafted a ton of Hunter Henry this year, but he was always like 18th round and often doesn't even go drafted. I did not realize he had moved up so much.
Yep, you can actually get him now. You can't just wait.
He went here before Hill and Knox, right after Ferguson. But before I would finish my thought on the rookies here, Nez, is the thing in baseball is the regular season of baseball, best ball is so long and so many games that I value the locked in playing time a lot more than the 17 weeks of games, or well, in my case, 15 weeks of games that you get on your best ball team.
Yeah, they're objectively rookies are objectively better in football than baseball. Yeah. I just had to get you on that. I had to make you talk about it.
Yeah, no, I've definitely every year I try always rethinking my rookie strategies in baseball.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, good. This is a fun range right now.
Okay, I was just gonna take Jelani Woods here. And think more about the last pick.
Yeah, works for me.
Get him in with Indianapolis.
I like Jelani Woods, man.
I don't know who
I try to
else.
think back to like actually watching him play football, and like the thoughts that I had when watching him play football were, wow, this dude looks really good.
Yeah.
And then we get into best ball season, and I kind of forget what it's like to watch football and see
Right.
guys with my own eyes and like recognize talent. Jelani Woods, I think, has a chance to be really good.
Yeah, and I've
Shades of Mo
Taking-
Alley because they're both so big. Like
Yep.
they're two
okay.
big guys.
Yeah, they I don't know. I never know what to do when I'm looking at tight end depth charts. I don't know enough about many of them, so yeah, we'll take them there. But now the question is, where do we go on this last pick? You said you'd normally go 3 at what are the onesies?
Typically, but you
could
can just
take
assume
Jimmy
that
G here.
like the Howell rushing floor is real and the Anthony Richardson season is good, and you can make that. I mean, that thin bet and go elsewhere. We've got options here.
The question I have for you guys is this running back room. This is a lot of names I don't put together. Pacheco and Gibbs, and I guess are some anchors here. Not so much anchors, but the higher capital guys. Do you feel comfortable with 6 here?
I feel like the back half is really strong of this group, so I think I'm comfortable with 6 here.
Okay.
Yeah, if you wanted to, I would probably say a 7th running back before an 8th wide receiver. But
sure.
I think this is kind of like a luxury pick, so to speak, depending on how you want to look at this team.
I like the guys who've got queued up, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm good with whatever. Oh, there goes Garoppolo.
There goes that. Yeah, and
if you want some names, I mean, Kyron Williams is looks like the RB2 based on comments.
Yeah, I've been taking him.
Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle might be available. RB2 in Dallas.
Yeah, that's a wild development.
Yeah.
I think I am going to go with the 3rd tight end here because thinking through George Kittle, and I feel like he has a lot of great games and a lot of bad games. He's not really a middle of the road sort of. I don't know if that's just
he doesn't have a high floor. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just how their offense normally works, or I'm not smart enough to know that, but just my general concept of him as a player. So I am just going to go with the 3rd tight end here.
That is what I thought last year as well. I think he ran really hot with touchdowns.
Oh, and my position.
Oh, that happened to me before.
That happened to me on a stream also. Never happens in regular drafts, but it happened on a stream for me too. That's funny.
All right, and there we go. Robert Woods, you're on the team. Sell me on Robert Woods.
I like Robert Woods as an 18th round pick. Just like objectively, he could be the wide receiver 2. It would not be shocking if he's a wide receiver 2 in Houston. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, he's honestly like a really good 18th round pick. And I was
playing
about
Tennessee
to tell you,
twice in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. And I'm about to tell you why I think George Kittle is actually a good. Like, I was surprised to see. I completely forgot, but it's because he scored 11 touchdowns that he finished in PPR as the tight end 3 last year. I did not know that he finished with that, but a lot of that was he did run really hot on touchdowns. But I mean that's just his profile. That's what that's why you take George Kittle, because he can run hot on touchdowns. So I think it's all right. There's worse 18th round picks to end up with than Robert Woods.
I'm looking at why this guy took Jimmy G, and he apparently wanted to stack him with Hunter Renfrow.
Hey, you got to do it.
As his 3rd quarterback with Rodgers and Dak. All right, well, this is the Anthony Richardson hype is real sort of build.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I like this team. I think it's a good team. Mm-hmm. Did either of you guys, before we finish, did either of you look at the $50,000 draft on DraftKings? Did you look at those teams at all?
A little bit. I looked at Utica and Liam's team.
Yeah. I would say in general, I was not super impressed with the teams that were drafted, given how sharp the people drafting them were. It was like,
well,
not the strongest.
It just goes to show like when you have DFS brain, it is really hard to like shift that. I noticed whenever I go back from drafting a ton of football I've been taking a lot off from my daily baseball volume, and I go back into daily baseball. It's really hard to kind of switch those gears if you are doing that stuff manually. It is kind of hard to get back in that zone. But so I wasn't like too surprised, but they definitely
this is the answer.
That is what I mean. Those dudes are the definition of FU money. That is the definition. They wear it on their sleeve.
Yep.
Yeah, and Yuta actually won. He didn't pay to enter. So
Oh,
Is that right? I didn't realize that. That's
he won
crazy.
he won the $333 baseball contest that got him in.
I didn't know.
I guess
this
that's
even-
not that crazy. Yuta winning a DFS tournament is okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he took down that whole night that
Yeah.
night. Yeah, because I tried to get a satellite to get into the 333, and I got second in the satellite. So
Oh,
my
Oh.
run ended there, 2 steps beyond the
Yeah.
full entry. But all right, so yeah, let's just quick run down the team, and then we'll get out of here. So yeah, we got ended up with 2-6-8-2. Anthony Richardson, Sam Howell as our quarterbacks. Interesting build, but draft like you're right. Running back room is Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, Donta Foreman, and Kendre Miller. So yeah, a lot of rookies here.
a lot of upside.
A lot of upside. Wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Jacoby Myers, Marvin Mims, Alec Pierce, and Robert Woods sneaking in at the end there. This Kupp Adams start is still the best part of the
That's
the
strong.
draft.
That's
That's
strong.
rare.
Yep.
That's rare.
Hopefully we didn't screw it up too bad. The tight ends, George Kittle and Jelani Woods. So there we go. The nice thing about drafting football for me is I have a hard time looking at a team and knowing if it's good or bad based on
Yeah.
the players. As long as
Right?
as long as the structure makes sense to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that could win. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's the best
I feel,
part.
I feel the same way for the most part. Yeah. I think
All
it's a
right.
structurally sound team.
It is.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Neil and Nez, for joining me, and everybody else that's watching. You can check out their Twitter handles are there, or their X handles, or whatever you want to call it now. And check out Neil over at Stochastic, and check out Nez on the Badge Bros every week, grinding every sport known to man. Yeah, so for Neil and Nez, thank you everybody for watching, and we're out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.